Do you hate the thought of working past 55 or 60? Do you hate not being able to live the life you deserve today? Do you hate not knowing what your financial future looks like? It's time to stop doing what you hate. Here's your host, Mr. Harold Green.
Aloha, everybody. This is Harold Green of Brightree Financial Group, and it is time to stop doing what you hate. I hope you are having a fantastic day today. My day is going okay. It's kind of crazy. We're in September, and September has been one of the most volatile trading months out of the entire year. So right now we're doing some rebalancing, some rotating, buying on weakness, selling different stocks, buying into other stocks. And so just very, very interesting times. And so, but what I really want to get into today is my show titled, How Not to Make Stupid Mistakes Buying Real Estate. And so I have two awesome real estate advisors here on the show with me today. We have Darrell Kimura. Darrell, hopefully I'm saying that right. And we have Mr. David Sir. Welcome to the show, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, Harold.
Thanks for having us, Harold.
Oh, you're so welcome. I met Darrell some years ago in the gym, and in the morning we just, strike up conversations. And before this whole crazy coronavirus thing, we used to be able to do the treadmill next to each other or elliptical machine next to each other. Now, they got us all social distance, but we still enjoy, meeting up in the gym and saying hello. And we struck up a great conversation a couple of weeks ago about what does it mean to be a fiduciary? And as you guys know, I'm a fiduciary in the financial world, but Darrell and David are fiduciaries in the real estate world. And the reason why I say that is because Darrell and I had a great conversation. And he was telling me about how he works with his clients to make sure that they're getting what's in their absolute best interest. And so a lot of times I'll have clients come up to me and they'll say things like, "Hey, Harold, I just bought a timeshare in Vegas." And I'm like, "What? You just bought a what? Where?" And with no planning. And so sometimes it catches us off guard. And sometimes it's not a great decision to do things like that. So I want to talk to David and Darrell this morning about what makes them fiduciary advisors and, why is that so important when they're looking out for the client's absolute best interest. And so, Darrell, I want you to share just a little bit with me about yourself and why real estate for you. I mean, you could sell anything. You can sell airplanes, you can sell boats, you can sell anything. Why real estate for you, Darrell?
Actually, what happened is that David and I go way back. We are actually friends from high school here on Oahu. And after high school, we moved up to California, Los Angeles area, and we imported Hawaiian flowers. We sold the Hawaiian flowers to like restaurants and movie studios and really a wide range of customers up there. We even actually supplied the 1984 Olympics. We got into that and supplied the Hawaiian flowers for that during that time. So we really liked selling, and then in flowers, we got a good satisfaction because a lot of it we're selling to a lot of brides that got married, and then the satisfaction afterwards on their faces, we looked at that and said, "Man, these girls are really happy," and it gave us a really good feedback and comfort knowing that we helped somebody. I mean, I'm really happy. So real estate kind of followed those lines. It went one level above actually, and there's nothing better than the feeling you get when you sell. You help a young couple get their first home, or you help an investor make a wise decision, and down the line he goes, "Man, I'm really glad I made that decision, Darrell." And the feeling that we get from that. At the end of the day, you gotta love your job, and that feeling gives us tremendous love for this profession.
Right. And then for you, David, why real estate for you?
I've been in sales all my life, and and like Darrell said, it's part of it is gratification of what you do. I've never been in it for the money. And I think because of that, I've been fortunate enough to be successful, not patting myself on the back, but it was always because putting the client first or putting customer first and just doing what we need to do to get that customer's goals met. Mm-hmm. And like Darrell said, it's so gratifying when we can meet those goals. And in this case, real estate, I've always been interested in buying, investing in the real estate world. And so when I had the opportunity to work with Darrell again and say, we can help change people's lives, basically, as an investor or somebody relocating or, again, buying your first home or even second home, is just so gratifying. Like kind of like everything we've done all our lives, it's kind of built up for this particular career.
Yeah.
And I think it's just been so satisfying.
Right. That's important. So one of the things that I wanted to ask you was, everybody has a unique selling proposition. Every advisor, anyone who's doing something in regards to a transaction, you have something about you that makes you guys special. And so when I was talking to Darrell, one of the things that stood out was your unique selling proposition is Las Vegas. Talk to me about why Las Vegas. Why do you use Las Vegas as your unique selling proposition?
It kind of just backed up into that. I'm nearing the age of retirement, and my intention was to, when my wife retires and I retire, to move up to Las Vegas. I already have a license here in Hawaii, so I thought, hey man, I'll move up to Las Vegas and maybe I'll sell some property up there, pay some bills, lunch money, right? But then what happened is that as I started getting transactions happening, people started finding out that, hey, you have a license in Las Vegas? Can you help me find a property? I'm moving up there. Or, my son's looking for a property because he's locating up there. Or, those types of things started happening more and more frequently. It got to the point where Las Vegas wasn't only a thing down the line, but more like something that I had to address immediately. And because the boom in Las Vegas, the interest in Las Vegas properties, it happened that I had to actually look for someone to help me with this. So I remember, David wanted to get into real estate too. So I asked him, I said, hey, you want to join up with me on this? Because I need help with this, And that's what happened. So now we service both Hawaii and Las Vegas equally.
Okay.
When Darrell invited me on, I went to go, of course, Darrell and I work so well together and stuff. So we're always looking for another opportunity to work together again. And real estate just aligned so well. And then when I went up there, first I said, well, let me go through the process. I bought my first condo with Darrell in South Summerlin.
Okay.
Really loved the area. Loved living up there. I said, Darrell, I'm 100% on board. Like I can see why Hawaii people want to, be a part of Las Vegas. So definitely from that point forward, 100% all in on helping people from Hawaii with the Vegas transition.
Yeah, they do call Vegas the ninth island, right?
Yeah, actually, when they came up with that term back when Sam Boyd was marketing the California Hotel a couple decades ago, it was just a marketing slogan. But over time, more and more people are moving to Las Vegas to the point where now we're kind of estimating it to be close to 200,000 ex-Hawaii residences that people have elected to move up there and relocate, which kind of puts it in the ballpark of having a population that rivals even actual neighbor islands here in Hawaii. So that's the ironic thing, is that there's so much white people up there now, restaurants, businesses, and God, it's changed,
It is. And whenever I go to Las Vegas and I see people that look Asian, I always want to say, something from like Hawaii to them, like, shoots, how's it, or something. Yeah. And it's like, but they're not. So I feel embarrassed. So I have to wait until I hear someone talking with the local dialect, either at a blackjack table or something. And then, it's always fun, to be around other local people because of just the culture and the ohana and stuff like that. So now here's what I want to know. Whenever we're talking to clients about making choices and making purchases and doing different things like that, I want to know, what are some of the things that you guys ask them in regards to what they're looking for? Because a lot of times people don't know what they want. They're just kind of like, yeah, I want to go to Vegas, or yeah, I want to do this, and yeah, I want to do that. And so what do you do to kind of help them along in terms of your questioning?
Yeah, great question. So it starts really with the initial conversation. I mean, people get excited. They hear, oh, my friends bought in Vegas, or my auntie bought in Vegas. So I want to buy too, but we kind of got to pull the reins back a little bit and start with square one. Like, but what are your real intentions? Like, are you planning to retire there, or like a second home, vacation home, or are you going to just buy it as an investment property, get some ROI? It kind of starts there. And some, it's a combination. Some say, oh, I'm going to rent it out, but I may retire someday there. So a lot of it stems from that initial conversation. Then we know how to move forward. Yeah. Because somebody living there or will someday live there or are going to move there is real different. Somebody who only cares about ROI and appreciation for the property, although they kind of overlap, but it kind of starts there. And kind of breaking it down. So let's say they are going to move there, and I plan to move there someday or soon. So I need to start looking now. Sure. So not just price range and all of that. Of course, we'll work all those numbers and try to, fit their budget. But it's more, we try to find out now they're going to live there. It's different. What's your lifestyle? What do you do in Hawaii? We try as much as possible to meet in the person's home.
Right.
Because once we're meeting in their home, we can kind of see their surroundings, maybe what's in the home or more or less where we're meeting, and kind of get a little bit of a feel about the person. Are you a golfer? If I see golf clubs lying around, or, Darrell met with a client and he saw fishing poles. So he said, okay, you guys must love fishing, and things like that are important to us in trying to strategize the best area or getting someplace where not just it's a great deal, but can they adjust their lifestyle because it'll be close or similar to things that they like doing here in Hawaii or here at home. So that's a big part of step one. Yeah, needs versus wants.
We also talk a long time, Harold. I mean, I'm sure like in your business or a lot of other businesses, the consultation period is the longest for us. It's like we'll meet with the client initially for easily 1 to 2 hours. And believe it or not, most of the time is actually spent on knowing about your family or your goals, how much kids you have, what do they like to do, all those things, right? Believe it or not, that's the most important part. So we spend a lot of time about that. And then, of course, pulling the trigger on neighborhood areas, prices or whatever, that kind of stuff, anyone can do that and get away with it. But the part that makes us, we think, more successful is the matching the needs and the wants together. And we're going from there with the initial conversation.
A lot of clients will say, oh, my auntie works there or so-and-so works there. But there's nothing like having Darrell and I, because we go back and forth between Hawaii and Las Vegas, right? Feet on the ground. Darrell and I know Las Vegas really, really well. So we can tell you, okay, that area looks good on paper, or maybe, online, they saw it through, one of the online realtor.com but what they don't know is sometimes we go to places and it's right in the path of the airport, one of the airport flight patterns. So you got airplanes flying over your heads all day, but you don't see that online, or picture looks, brand new renovated, good house.
You don't see that online at all.
Correct. But we can tell you, like, just from this area, how far it is to get a loaf of bread. Like you don't want to be way out someplace where just to get bread, you got to drive half an hour. So things like that, what people don't understand is how much Darrell and I factor that in when you're making your decision.
Yeah, we're spoiled here in Hawaii. I can just walk out my back gate and be at Safeway, or 5 minutes I'm at Long's, or I'm at a Safeway. In the mainland, it's not like that. And so that's a very interesting point. So tell me some of the things people say to you folks when they are looking at moving to Las Vegas, other than the fact that, I'm thinking about retiring there. What is one of the craziest reasons you've heard people say they want to move to Las Vegas? Give me something crazy, because I know you guys hear stuff.
Craziest thing is probably, believe it or not, maybe something along the lines of, I want to get away from my parents or something like that. Most of the people that are interested in Las Vegas, they either have a family or friends that are already there. And that has increased over the years. Yeah. Whereas in the beginning part, maybe a couple of decades ago, not that much white people were up there. So they really had to do their homework. But now it's easy for them to call them up and say, hey, uncle, how you like living in Vegas, and how's Henderson? You like living there? So it's easier now to judge if people are willing to move up there, but we still give them a good consultation, to the point where there is a percentage of them that actually, after we talk to them, they change their mind, right? They say, okay, you know what, this is not for me. And then we say, yeah, maybe it's not. But our job is to find you a place that you want to retire in. So maybe it is back here in Hawaii or Texas or wherever it be. Our job is just to find the best fit for our customers, wherever it is. If we can do it, fine. If cannot, then we'll try to point them in the right direction.
And you want to make sure that they're not making irrational and emotional decisions. And Darrell, what I really love about what you said was you meet with the people not only here in Hawaii, but you also will meet with them up in Las Vegas too, and then go around with them and then show them different places. This is a very interesting thing, because I kind of do some of that with my clients that are retired. We go around and we do different things, or we play golf or whatnot, and we just kind of enjoy the fact that they are retired. I think that's a very, very interesting thing. So I love the fact that you do that. But I'm sure a lot of these people, I don't know if they're just making these decisions without their financial advisors or how they're making these decisions, because a lot of times people, just because they have money to do something, they'll do it and it may be the wrong thing. So how do you and your team make sure that the people that are going through this process are not being taken advantage of by, say, a mortgage broker or another professional, and they just kind of mess up somewhere in the transaction? What do you guys do to safeguard that?
Yeah, that's great. Another thing that we kind of pride ourselves on is like lining them up with the right people that, if, in addition to ourselves, if it's somebody like a mortgage broker or a banker or a financial planner, if they have one, great. We'll always give them options that we can recommend or we've worked with and we trust 100% with our own, personal level or with other clients. Kind of starts there, because even meeting with the financial planner or the broker first, we want to make sure, first of all, do they really have the funds to do this? Because some of them get overexcited.
Yep.
So we don't want them to stretch themselves, because I got like 400 or 500,000 to spend. And in reality, maybe they only have 200,000 or 100,000, and that's fine. Yeah, whatever they really have, but we don't want them to stretch themselves first. So we have people that we can line them up with if they don't have somebody, but we tell them to meet with them first. You can always meet with ours for a second opinion.
Okay.
But even because we'll go back and forth, and like you said, we kind of hold their hand through the whole process. It's scary, right? Buying out of state. So that's why when we meet with them, we tell them, one of us will meet you on the other end. We'll fly out, meet you on the other end. We'll take you to the areas that we think you are interested in. But we'll also drive to the supermarkets or to the healthcare areas, or like see how far it is. But more importantly, try to see what kind of people are in the area, in the stores or in the parking lot, or what kind of cars are around, because it can give you an indication as well if it feels right. You'd be surprised just by taking them in the store and then they see Hawaii people working at the registers at Target or something. It kind of brings the comfort level down a little bit.
Yeah.
But it could be even things like, okay, once I get there, what about if I got to paint my house or fix something? You guys have a handyman or people we can trust that won't rip us off, or, somebody work on my car. So all of that we can help with, again, from start to end, pretty much give as much input or as much references that we trust. Yeah.
And also,
because the hotel, the living in a house experience is very different than the hotel experience that people fall in love with,
Exactly.
when they go out there. So tell me, some of the warning signs that you see when this is not the right thing for somebody to do, when they're like absolutely going to make the worst decision of their life. What are some of the warning signs you see?
Well, first of all, in the initial meeting, Harold, like any other profession, when we meet with them, because we have to have them pre-qualified or pre-approved for the loan process, or check if they have available funds, we kind of get an idea on their financial well-being right from the start. So that being said, the warning signs. In other words, if someone came up and said, you know what, I want to live in Las Vegas. I'm going to sell my house in Hawaii. I'm going to liquidate all my stocks and everything like that and move up there. That to us is a warning sign, because we're like, okay, man, what if you don't like living up there or whatever? You just, use all your life savings and your everything you ever had. So we just make sure when that happens, we really spend a lot of time in the consultation to make sure that they don't do something irrational, right? Because I'll give you a good example. We had a client that wanted to buy a Vegas place about 2 weeks ago. He just went through a divorce.
Oh, wow.
And this guy was, I want something now. I want this much, I want it, in this area. I want to spend this much money or whatever. Sure enough, after a couple of weeks went by and we're looking for places for him, he settled down, right? He says, oh, you know what? I was kind of irrational. I'm not going to look in Vegas now. I'm going to just try to stay home and maybe see if I can work it out with my ex-wife and stuff like that. So we're human, man. We just we don't want to make people do things that they're not supposed to do. At the end of the day, man, we're just trying to make sure that they do the right thing overall. Yeah.
But definitely, Howard, meeting with a professional or a financial advisor like yourself or somebody that they're comfortable with, that's a huge step, because that'll kind of put things in perspective. Sometimes a meeting with the financial advisor, it'll tell them like, you know what, you really don't have as much as you thought you had, or you actually are in a better position than you thought. Maybe you don't have to kind of scrape by and just getting a, 1-bedroom condo. Maybe you can invest in a nice single family home instead. So it's very important that they align yourself with, again, like people like yourself.
That's important that you say that, David, because most salespeople that I know and that I hear of, anytime my client gets involved in a situation like that, I always tell them, I will never tell you no. But what I will tell you is let's run the numbers and see which way works out for you. Because some salespeople that they're not fiduciaries, they're only interested in making a sale and closing a deal because they have to meet their numbers. And people have to understand that. So I see a lot of things sugar coated, dressed up, made to look a certain kind of way. And then when the clients get involved in it, they're stuck. It's hard to get out of that stuff. So give me some words of wisdom that when you see people making bad decisions, like what are some of the things that you tell them? Do you tell them, you know what, I think this is wrong for you, or you need to take a day or two and calm down? Like, give me some words of wisdoms that you would tell someone that when you know they're about to do something stupid.
Sure. I'll give you an example that comes to mind as you were saying that. So a client recently last year, and he prides himself on being a stockbroker, if you will.
Yeah.
That he plays the market and he's retired, all of that. So he's like, Dave, I got money and I know my numbers. He's always running figures and numbers by me, to the percentages. Anyway, so he was looking strictly for ROI, strictly for investment. He said, I'm never going to live here. Just give me numbers. If it appreciates, great, but I just want strong ROI, maybe something in the 5 to 7% range. And we say, okay, I can find. There's definitely properties there. So here's my budget. Here's what I have to work with. So went up there, we made the deal and all of that. And on paper and everything looks good. The home looks good, went up there. But because Darrell and I will always do the home inspection for you if you can't go up, or the walkthrough and all of that. So once I got up there to see the place and he already had signed the offer got accepted. But I went up there to meet with the home inspector to do the walkthrough. And I went there early. The home was vacant. So I said, okay, I'm going to go check it out. But when I got there, the next door neighbor had just got home from work. It was about 4 PM. I try to go around that time because I know most of the neighbors are home.
Oh, that's important.
Blasting his rock and roll music. And I was wondering, okay, is this just an anomaly or is this like happens every day? But I could hear it from before I even reached the unit, just as I was walking to the unit. And then, So once I got in the unit, I'm saying, I wonder how thin the walls are. Can I hear him? And sure enough, I could hear him. The house is beautiful, by the way, now. And then I was waiting for it because it's fairly close to one of the main strips, one of the main veins, roadways. And that's another thing. Darrell and I know between a side street versus a main road. Yep. I said, hey, you're pretty close to one of the downtown roads. So I listened. Sure enough, cars going by. I said, I couldn't even be there for a few minutes, let alone living here. So I told him that. I said, I told our client, you may have to let's think about this one. He said, nah, David, I already signed the offer, got accepted. We got a great rate on it. But I told him, even if we can rent it out, your renter is going to be miserable here. And every 6 months, you're going to be trying to find a new renter and it's not worth it.
Right.
And so at the end, he said, you sure, David? I said, I know it looks great. The numbers work, everything works, except that your tenant's going to be miserable here. And you're going to have, in the long run, it's not worth it. So we canceled the deal and things like that. He was kind of heartbroken at first.
Yeah.
And then we did move on and we did eventually find him another place. And he appreciated that later on when he said, David, we got the same ROI and with something that I don't have to deal with. So I guess, things along those lines is what we try to help our clients with, not to get crazy, even though they're so excited.
Right.
That particular one too, Harold. I mean, I was watching from the sidelines what David was doing, and this guy was a day trader, right? So he's a numbers guy, and then he really wanted that place. And when David told him not to get that place, I remember him going off on David, kind of like, "Hey man, you got a signed contract for me. I don't believe you're telling me to pull out of this, right?" He goes, "After all these months, and then you're telling me to just keep on looking." And David said, "Hey, you know what? This is not for you, man." Right. So at the end of the day, like David said, this guy. In fact, we just called David the other week saying, okay, I'm ready for my second investment, right? And that's the thing we try to do is like, look at the long term. I mean, like any other a good businessman, you want to keep the customers happy and you want the repeat business or referrals. So if you're going to look for the short term, we'll be here only for the short term. So we just try to do the right thing. And like David said, our mortgage lenders, our vendors, they all are the same way. I mean, we wouldn't partner up with them if they didn't have the same ethics.
Real quick, we have incidents where clients still insist after we do these things and they still insist, I don't care, I'm going to get it. Not in this particular case, but we've had it in other cases. Darrell and I will actually walk away from the sale and says, okay, no problem, but you have to work with another realtor. We'll recommend some firms you can work with or other agents, but you just kind of buy this place to Darrell and I because, we have certain ethics or morals or standards that we got to live with ourselves too, right? So.
Right. It's one thing to be in this kind of work for the money, and it's another thing to be in it for just seeing the pure satisfaction and happiness and joy on people's faces and on families' faces when you did what's in their absolute best interest. And I'll be honest with you guys, there's a lot of people I will not work for. I don't care how much money they have, because at the end of the day, we're all the team. And if one member of the team lets the other members down, we're all probably going to go down together and we're all going to lose together. So it's very important to be on a winning team. And one of the last things I want to ask you guys before I let you go is this: what makes your relationship tick? Because sometimes I have a hard time having partners because I'm just I'm so, what's the word about it, and yeah. Some people, if my business partner was all laid back and I'm the one cranking out the production and cranking out the sales and I'm cranking out stuff and my partner's on vacation or he's, at a soccer game with his kids, I may have a little problem with that. So talk to me about you guys' relationship and what makes that work so well.
Yeah, like I said in the beginning, Harold, I mean, David and I, we go back from high school, which is like over 40 years. We worked together when we had our flower business in California, and we know each other really well. So we have actually tried to partner up with other people to help join us because, we we're growing and we want to just grow our business too, but never really works out. I mean, we had the perfect fit with me and David is just something that came over time, trusting each other and friendship. And we're just fortunate that it worked out this way.
I think the trust is the biggest thing. I mean, don't get me wrong, Darrell and I have our disagreements or arguments, but it doesn't interfere that in the bottom line, we both know that we're trying to do what's best for the client. We may see it differently, but overall, we're on the same page as a bottom line, we what's best for the client. So with that in mind, we can kind of overcome a lot of things that I think other partners wouldn't do because it's maybe more, it could be more about the money for them, but I think it's the trust level. Darrell's never going to screw me over. He knows I'm never going to screw him over. It's all about what's best for the client.
I think the clients feel that too, Harold, because what our niche is that since there's two of us, one of us will meet with the client in Hawaii, and also we'll make sure that one of us are meeting them in Las Vegas too, right? So they're dealing with us constantly. A lot of people in the business, they're licensed in Las Vegas, but what they're going to do is they're going to just say, okay, you want to buy a Las Vegas property? I know a realtor up there. We work together, blah, blah, blah. But, what happens is that Hawaii realtor will refer the client to a Las Vegas realtor. And the client, the realtor in Las Vegas doesn't really know about the client here in Hawaii because they weren't the ones spending 2 hours. They weren't the ones spending 2 hours talking to them. I could give the guy email that's 5 pages long trying to describe everything. But the bottom line is that we think that me and David, what we bring to the table cannot be replicated.
So last thing, I need a 3-point checklist of, say, I'm Harold Green. I'm going to buy something in Vegas. I got like $500,000 to spend. Give me a 3-point checklist of the most important things I should think about before I pull the trigger. Like 3 most important things. I know there's like 100, but give me the top 3.
Okay, I guess point 1 is what are you planning to do with the property? Are you relocating, investing, or retiring there?
Okay.
And really depending on that, then we'll look at the potential neighborhoods that fit those purposes. Yeah, like David said, investment, ROIs will be certain areas, but retirement and relocation might be some other areas. Yeah. So once we get that point 1 done or figured out, then we go to point 2, which is then to start looking in the potential neighborhoods and of course pricing. Yeah.
All right. So we got the why. I got to know my why. I got to know my where. And then what's the third one? I think you guys know this one. What's the third one? I'm thinking when. Why, where, when.
Yeah. Well, when and how, right?
When and how.
When and how. Because definitely
how.
time is a factor. And like, you're talking about next year you're doing this or in the next few months. And for sure, when is a factor because then we can tell you about the market trends and where we see the market. A lot of people talk about Vegas. Oh, but the market crashed in 2008, 2010. I'm worried about that, or what's going to happen with COVID, this and that. So, without getting into all those details, yes, definitely when has a factor on when on what type of property we're going to be looking at as well.
Yeah, when our timetable is not like a financial world with stocks and stuff like that. Timetable, it's not as rushed. I mean, you don't have to make a decision right away. In a lot of cases, just today, David got a call from a client that he took around 3 years ago, and now they're saying, "Okay, you know what? We're ready to retire now. We still want to move to Vegas. Can you help me?" Right? So it's things like that in real estate you really can't. Sometimes you really gotta hustle. Like if it's a 1031 exchange and you have so much time to do something, then we gotta boogie, man. We gotta act fast. But if it's something like retirement on the opposite end, then you have some time. Relocating is kind of in the middle right now because a lot of people in Hawaii are saying, "Yeah, man, you know what? I'm having a hard time making ends meet. How about Vegas? I hear Vegas is cost less to live up there, and a lot of Hawaii people are moving up there." So the timetable for everyone is going to be different, and we can adapt. Whatever it is, man, it's fast 1031 exchange all the way down to someone who's going to retire in 5 years from now, right? But we still got a plan.
All right. So there we have it, Darrell Kimura and Mr. David Sir. And what's the name of your business? I don't think we said the name of your business at the beginning.
Okay, so we like you, we try to get our message out there to as much people as we can. If you go to our website, which is yvegashawaii.com. So yvegashawaii.com.
I'll make sure we put that in our show notes.
Okay, sure. And then, if it's all right to mention, we do like seminars about 4 times a year on Oahu, looking at doing some on Neighbor Island. And it's not a sales seminar. It's really just about kind of what we talked about here, about why should I move to Vegas or why are people even considering Vegas? We actually have one coming up on September 30th. But if you go to our website, you can find some details about what we cover.
All right. So that's yvegashawaii.com. And again, this is Harold Green with Bright Tree Financial Group. And we definitely don't want you making any kind of decision that's going to ruin your financial future. And that's one of the things I can talk to you about as well. So if you're listening to the show, do me a favor, go to the show notes. And if you want me to talk to you about your situation in regards to whether you want to relocate or whether Vegas is the right place for you to buy or wherever, let me know, get on my schedule, and we can talk about that and give you 1 hour for free. But if you want me to analyze your financial situation and run some numbers for you and make sure you're not going to make a crazy decision, that's going to cost you $375 an hour. And I can package deal that to you for you, and you can get 2 hours with me for the price of one at $375. And we'll make sure that your financial plan is set to help you get from where you are today and to make sure you get to where you really want to be. So thanks, Darrell. Thanks, David, for being on the show. And until next time, everybody, 1, 2, 3, let's get it.
This is the podcastfactory.com.